Namaste. We're slowly going to make our way into child's pose positions. We're going to draw your big toes together, settling those sit bones over those heels and coming to rest your forehead on the mat. If that's not possible, an option is to rest your fists on top of one another and then your forehead on mat. We're going to take a moment to just surrender from the day, find your breath, and yoga breath is simply breath in and breath out. Traditionally, it is done in through the nose and out through the nose. However, breathing however's most comfortable for you. We're going to let go of any competition with yourself as with others and just being present. So experiencing each and every pose, grabbing water whenever you need and modify it as you like. From child's pose, we're slowly going to tuck your toes under and we're going to lift up into our first downward facing dog. We're not going to force it. It's going to be easy downward facing dog. We're going to come up in the balls of your feet and just releasing your left heel and then back up in the balls of your feet and just releasing your right heel. We're going to repeat that a few times on your own, on your breath, just to bicycle up those feet, getting some synovial fluid moving through those ankles, to those toes. And then we're going to come up back in the back of your toes and then draw your heels back. Pull your knees back and just ease into that downward facing dog, not forcing it, but a bit challenge. Then we're going to make our way forward to plank. Then we're going to shift forward. We're going to come into your chatter. We're going to squeeze your elbows in. Here's your cobra. And then back to downward facing dog. From here, we're going to step your right foot back. Bring your right foot forward for lower lunge. So both sets toes facing forward, hands on the mat. Draw your left leg back. So feel extension. Then we're going to step back to plank. From plank, we're going to shift forward. Here's your chatter. We're going to squeeze your elbows in. Cobra or up dog, and back to down facing dog. We're going to step the left foot back, bring your left foot forward for lower lunge, hands stay here, draw your right leg back, and make your way back to plank. From plank, we're going to come all the way down for 4-point staff. So look forward, all the way down, squeeze those elbows in, resting, pull your abs in. So really engaging your core and pressing back into child's pose. So just settling back in that resting pose. We're going to tuck your toes under, come back to downward facing dog. Forward to plank. Feel free to come to your knees and modify. We're going to come back to 4-point staff. Squeeze those elbows in back to mat. Scoop your abs in and press back to child's pose. We're going to do that twice more. So tuck your toes under, come back into downward facing dog. Forward to plank. 4-point staff. Pull your belly in. Big toes together, back into child's pose. Once more, we're going to tuck your toes under. So coming back into downward facing dog. Forward to plank. 4-point staff, feel free to come to your knees. Pull the belly button in, big toes together, back into child's pose. So sink back down, that resting pose for just a moment. Just pressing those sit bones back, hands forward, and pull your shoulder blades down. So feel the stretch across your upper back. Then we're going to tuck your toes under, back to downward facing dog. We're going to walk your feet to join your hands. So take a look at the top of your mat and walk your feet forward. So here's your forward fold. Pausing for a moment, not forcing it. An option is to grab hands at either side of your on elbows, hands in your shins, or let your head hang and take a look behind you. So shaking your head yes and no. Then we're going to shift the weight back in the balls of your feet and sit back in a chair. So let your toes come off the mat and just sink down into chair. It can be a low chair, it can be a tall chair. But heads up of your heart, hearts up of your sit bones. So sit back, wiggling your toes. Tip your knees and chuck maybe towards your second or third toe. Arms are long, hands at heart center. Your choice. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to come back to forward fold. So planche all 4 corners of your feet, meeting your toes. Take a look behind you. We're going to sit back in a chair. So you can heads above your heart. High chair, low chair, it's your choice. Then where your knees are tracking. So just find your chair. We're holding for 5, abs pulled in. We're gonna come back to forward fold. So hands are always comfortable for you. We're gonna let your head hang. Pull your knees back and lift your sit bones up. Sit back in a chair. So shift the weight back in the balls of your feet. You're meaning your toes are free to wiggle a bit. High chair, low chair, heads above your heart, hearts above your tailbone. Now we're gonna draw hands at heart center. So palms together. Press your palms together and bring your forearms parallel off the mat, not letting your elbows come down here. Then from here, we're going to shift forward, lift your heels off the mat. If you need to, draw your shoulders back. So let your knees shift forward. So So you want to feel the engagement of your calf muscles. So we tend to, here, start to let your upper body sink down. So recorrect. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to forward fold. So plant your heels. Here's your forward fold position. Take a look behind you. Sit back in a chair. So think about the chair position where your knees, hands at heart center, palm together, shifting forward, lift your heels off the mat, let your knees come forward, try to bring your shoulders back. Sink down if you want, bounce a couple times, listen to your knees. We have 5 to go here, 4, 3, 2, 1, here's your forward fold. Then we're gonna walk your hands forward, walk your feet back, so you're using your mat and come back into plank. Find your plank. Draw your feet back. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4-point staff. Squeeze those elbows in. Flat to the mat. Big toes together. We're going to come back into child's pose. It's a transition. Stay here as long as you like. For this, we're going to tuck your toes under. Come back to down facing dog. Forward to plank. 4-point staff. Pull your belly button in. Back into child's pose. Tuck your toes under. Back to down facing dog. Once more, forward to plank, 4-point staff, squeeze those elbows in, flat, pull your abs in, back into child's pose, and then tuck your toes under, back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back. So draw your right heel back, we're gonna bring your left knee towards your forehead, pause for a moment for the crunch, and step back, then step your left foot through. So one or many steps, here's your lower lunge. Both sets of toes are facing forward. We're gonna draw your right leg back. Feel free to come to your knee, your choice. Then we're gonna walk your hands up that left thigh and draw your ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. So you feel the groin stretch. Again, feel free to come to your knee. But think about this alignment. We tend to kind of start to shorten this muscle and come forward. So think about where your ears are. You're in a mountain type position. Again, on the knee or off, hands at heart center, and then bring your fingertips up towards the ceiling. We're gonna bring your palms together and cross your left thumb over your right. Draw your right leg back. We're gonna hold this lunge for 5, 4, pull your abs in for 3, 2, 1. We're gonna cartwheel those hands either side of your left foot, and step back to plank. From plank, we're gonna shift forward. Here's your chaturanga, squeeze your elbows in, cobra, or up dog, and back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. So pull the left knee back. We're gonna bring your right foot forward for lower lunge. Draw your left leg back, walk the hands up your right thigh, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Feel free to come to your left knee, but you want to think about this alignment. Hands at heart center, feel free to come off your knee, but you're going to draw the leg back, and then bring your fingertips up towards the ceiling, crossing your right thumb over your left. Draw your left leg back. We're going to hold for 5. Think about where the right knee should be tracking more towards the second and third toe. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands down either side of your right foot and step back to plank. So find your plank. We're gonna shift forward. Here's your chaturanga, cobra, or up dog, and back to down facing dog. Twice more, we're gonna come forward to plank. Shifting forward, here's your chaturanga, squeeze your elbows in, lowering the chest on the mat, cobra, and back to down facing dog. Once more, we're gonna come forward to plank. Shift forward, here's your chaturanga, cobra, or up dog, and back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back, bring your left foot forward for a lower lunge, draw the right leg back, walk your hands up that left thigh, here's your lunge, fingertips up towards the ceiling, and then we're gonna draw your elbows out to your sides. So imagine you squeeze your shoulder blades together. So it looks like this. You don't have to bring your elbows in, but I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together, palms are facing forward. So this is your position. So we're gonna come onto the right knee or stay off. You're still in a lunge. Pull those abs in. Now we're gonna bring your hands at heart center, press your palms together and bring your forearms parallel off the mat. Don't let those elbows come out to your sides. Fingers up towards the ceiling. And then we're gonna carve those hands and step back and down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. Bring the right foot forward for lower lunge, both sets of toes facing forward. Walk those hands up that right thigh. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Bring your left leg back. Hands at heart center for a moment. Hands to the ceiling. and then draw those elbows out. So a chance to really stretch your chest and use your back here while you're maintaining your lunge. So you're building strength with that lower body. We tend to spend so much of our day hunched forward. So really focus on rolling your shoulders back, opening your chest, big deep breaths. Again, your choice of your angles, where you want your elbows in. We're gonna hold for 5 here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands at heart center. Fingers up towards the ceiling. We're gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna carve with those hands and step back to down facing dog. We're gonna flow it. So we're gonna come forward to plank, shifting forward. Here's your chaturanga. Squeeze your elbows in. Cobra or up dog, and back to down facing dog. We're gonna come forward to plank, 4-point staff. So lower yourself straight down, back in the child's pose. Pausing for a moment. You can stay here and rest if you like. We're gonna tuck your toes under, come back to down facing dog. And then we're gonna walk those hands back to join your feet. So again, traveling towards the back of your mat. Forward fold for a moment. Walk those hands up and make your way to mountain. So think about mountain. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over shoulders over hips. Tuck your tailbone under. Your weight is equally on your right foot and left foot. Engage your core. Now we're gonna sit back in a chair. So shift the weight back in the balls of your feet. Stick your bum out and sink down into chair. Arms are long. This is gonna counterbalance you for a moment. So I want you to challenge your chair and just sink down. Wiggling your toes. Your knees tend to knock inward. I want you to turn them out. Again, it's easy to do this. I want you to track towards your second and third toe. Your feet should not be together. This should be able to fit 2 fists comfortably here. Now you've got chair. We want to draw your elbows out and stretch your chest. So heads above your heart. We tend to start to sink and lift your bum up in the air. Just trying to resist it. You can let your knees shift forward a bit if you want. Just sink down through your hips. Kind of bounces it a couple times if you want. Then we're going to press up to tall mountain. Tuck your tailbone under. Reach your hands to the ceiling. Then you can come into a back bend. So press your pelvis forward and listen to your back. Hands on either side of your low back is an option, or just stay in neutral position. But here's a chance for you to expand your breath. So breathing in and breathing out. We're slowly going to make our way back to mountain. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Find your mountain. We're going to walk your hands down for forward fold. Pausing for a moment, take a look behind you. We're going to walk your hands forward, walk your feet back, whatever you need to use the length of your mat. Here's your plank. 4-point staff straight down the mat. Now we're going to reverse it. So you can use your knees or not, but before we go up, pull your belly button in and pop back up. Here's your plank. Lift your sit bones up. We tend to start to sink down to your hips. Now, as one, we're going to bring your knees down for a tag, a touch, and then press back to plank. We're going to hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scoop your abs in and bring your knees down for the simply tag or the touch, and then press back to plank. 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Once again, last time, bring your knees down for the tag or the touch, and press back up. Here's 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back to downward facing dog. We're going to walk those hands back to join your feet. Tap into the back of your mat. Forward fold for a moment. Walk those hands up. Make your way back to mountain. And we're going to come into balance. So listen to my voice. You don't have to look at your computer or your tablet or whatever you're using here. You can even, if you like, look at a wall. But I want you to find your mountain. We're going to come into balance. So we're going to root equally first to starting your right foot and left foot. Then we're going to transfer the weight onto your left foot. We're going to bring your right foot off the mat. It does not matter where your right leg goes. I want you to take a moment to adjust, accommodate. We tend to take and sink into that left hip. So level yourself out. Pull the left knee back. Just checking how that ankle feels, that foot feels. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to make our way back to mountain. So find your mountain. Shift the weight over to your right foot, pull your right knee back. So engage the muscles, and then bring your left foot off the mat. Try not to round forward. So take a moment to adjust, accommodate. Try to bring your ears back. We tend to kind of lean more to the right or lean forward. We're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make your way back to mountain. So again, your center, we're gonna add on. So from here, we're gonna shift the weight over to your left foot, pull your left knee back, and bring your right foot off the mat. Take a moment to adjust, accommodate. You can choose to stay here, or now bring that right knee up 90 degrees. So we're gonna tuck your tailbone under. We're gonna bring your arms overhead, palms facing one another. But we're gonna reach your fingertips to the ceiling, but pull your shoulder blades down. Abs pulled in. When you're ready, we're gonna kick your right foot forward. So you wanna press with the bottom of the foot. Extend across the knee. Draw your standing leg, that left leg should be nice and long. Pull the left knee back, we're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the right knee back and back into mountain. If you come out of the balancing pose, feel free to join us back in mountain. Come back in the balance, whatever feels comfortable for you. We're gonna come back into mountain, weight to get equally on the right foot and left foot. Pull the right knee back and bring your left foot off the mat. Abs engaged. So take a moment to feel that. And then bring the left knee up. And then arms overhead, palms facing one another. Fingertips reaching to the ceiling and pull the shoulder blades down. Now pull the right knee back. The standing leg is strong and engaged. Now kick the left foot forward through the bottom of the foot. Across the knee joint. We have 5 to go here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bend that left knee and make your way back to mountain. We're just gonna move the spine forward and back. Just unlocking a bit, flexion and extension. We're gonna come back into balancing once more. So again, weight equally on your right foot and left foot. Then we're gonna shift over to your left side. It's really subtle. Pull your left knee back. Then we're gonna bring your right foot off the mat. Take a moment to adjust, accommodate, right knee 90 degrees. Pull the left knee back, arms overhead, palms facing one another. Fingertips reaching high to the ceiling and pull your shoulder blades down. Now pull your abs in. We're gonna kick your right foot forward. So pressing through the bottom of the foot. We're gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna bend that right knee and take your left arm and reach across the outside of your right thigh. So add a twist. Lift up through your right hand and then draw your right hand behind you. So a chance to stretch the chest, the shoulder. We're gonna hold here for 5. Pull the left knee back, that's your balancing leg for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the arms back overhead, palms facing one another, fingertips reaching the ceiling. We're gonna kick your right foot forward once again for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make your way back to mountain. So find your mountain, weight equally your right foot and left foot. We're gonna finish the other side. So we're gonna take the weight over to your right foot, pull your right knee back. So standing is nice and tall, abs engaged, and then we're gonna bring your left foot off the mat. So take a moment to adjust, to accommodate. Respecting differences from right to left. We're gonna bring your arms back overhead, palms facing one another, fingertips reaching the ceiling, pull your shoulder blades down. Then we're gonna kick your left foot forward. We're gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna bend your left knee. We're gonna take your right hand and reach across that left thigh to the outside of your left thigh. Reach your left fingertips up higher and then draw it out towards the back wall. So a chance to stretch from your sternum out. Holding for 5, pull your belly in, lifting through your crown for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring your arms back overhead. It's coming out of your twist. We're gonna kick your left foot forward again through the bottom of the foot. We're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your left foot to join your right and back into mountain. So find your mountain. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Take your tailbone under and wait. Simply breathing in and breathing out. I'm gonna hold for 5 more. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna walk your hands down for forward fold. Walk your feet forward, walk your hands forward, feet back, hands forward, whatever feels comfortable, whatever you need to use your length of your mat back into plank. Holding your plank for 5. Pull your shoulder blades back, lift your sit bones up. And then we're gonna lower yourself straight on a 4-point staff. Squeeze those elbows in, so tuck your elbows under, lower yourself down, use your triceps, and then press back into child's pose. So drop your sit bones back from child's. Then we're gonna tuck your toes under, come back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back for 3-legged dog and bring your left foot forward for lower lunge. You're gonna flip your right foot, reach your fingertips forward, and then up to the ceiling. We're gonna make your way to warrior two. So find your warrior two. The left knee is tracking towards your second and third toe. You're really rooting the complete bottom of your right foot, but particularly the right little toe. Pull the knee back. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and tuck your tailbone under and get your core. Arms are long, palms are facing down. Then through your shoulders, you're gonna turn so your palms are facing up, and take your gaze and look past your left hand. So listen to my voice. You don't have to look at the computer or your tablet. We're gonna hold warrior two. Bring your fingertips and thumbs together so your palms are facing up. So your hand is flat. You should be able to rest maybe a plate on it. Pull your right knee back. Abs in. Your left knee once again wants to track towards your second and third toes. So take a quick gaze and let's see it. If not, you're gonna reposition your left foot or just turn that knee out slightly. Now we're gonna reach forward and move through your torso. Take your left hand to reach towards the front of the room and then flip it, bring your left hand on the ceiling. Your right hand's gonna come behind your right leg. We start to sink into your right knee, pull your right knee back. Here's your reverse warrior. Left hand to the ceiling. Maybe slightly past midline to stretch out that left side, your choice. And then you're gonna bring your left arm inside your thigh and stack your shoulders. So your left hand doesn't come all the way to the mat, but you wanna press that arm into your thigh, thigh into that arm. There's your bind. Reach your right hand up. So from your sternum, you're gonna reach in opposite directions. Just open your chest. Once again, we spend so much of our day hunched forward, whether it's over a phone, a tablet, a computer, driving. So let your right shoulder roll back a little bit more. Challenge this, holding for 5. And then we're gonna make our way back in reverse warrior. So take your left hand forward, flip it. If you need to, so you can straighten your left leg, come back to lunge. You don't have to stay in a lunge position. Listen to what that left leg needs here. And then we're gonna cart with those hands to either side of your left foot. So turn those right toes forward. Here's your lower lunge position. And step back into your facing dog. We're gonna flow it. So we're gonna come forward to plank. Shifting forward, here's your chaturanga, cobra or up dog. And back into our facing dog. You can repeat that, or we're gonna add on. We're gonna come forward to plank, pause. Feel free to come to your knees. We're gonna lower yourself halfway down. So look forward, don't look at your hands. Press back to plank, pop back up. Then shift forward, here's your chaturanga, cobra or up dog, and back in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, pull your knees back. Take a moment to really feel. Then we're gonna step the right foot back. We're gonna bring the right foot forward for lower lunge, flip your left foot, pull your left knee back, reach your fingertips forward and up, and make your way into warrior two here. So again, do a quick check. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, the right knee tracking towards your middle toe, and the left foot is completely rooted, particularly the left little toe, your left knee back. Palms are facing down if they're not already, and then through your shoulders, you're gonna turn so your palms are facing up. Your gaze is gonna look past your right hand. Fingertips and thumbs are together where your palms are flat. You should be able to rest your plate on it, and let's scoop and pull your abs in, engage your core. From here, we're gonna move through your torso and reach forward. Then take your right hand to the ceiling and left hand behind your left leg. So just stretch your right side of your body for a reverse warrior. Pull your left knee back. We're gonna bring your right arm beside your thigh. So your fingertips does not touch the mat. So the right thigh, right arm is gonna bind, pressing into one another but not going anywhere. Reach your left hand to the ceiling. Gaze is gonna follow your left hand. You're gonna reach up and down. So you're not going anywhere, but you're gonna feel the stretch from your sternum out. Holding for 5. Now let's pull your left knee back. Reach, reach, reach. Let your left shoulder roll back a bit to really feel more stretch to that left shoulder, that left chest. From hot angle, we're gonna take your right hand forward and flip it for reverse warrior. So bring your left arm behind that leg. If you need to, take your right leg out of lunge. You can come out of the lunge and come back down. It's your choice to stretch that right side of your body. Now hold for 5. And then we're gonna cart with those hands, hand either side of your right foot. So turn so the left toes are forward. You square yourself, bring your hands to the mat, and step back to plank. Now your choice is to stay here. On your knees if you like, or lower yourself halfway down, we're gonna pause. Squeeze your elbows in. Then we're gonna press back to plank. You can use your knees, pop back to plank. You're using your arms here. Then all the way down for 4-point staff. Lower yourself down, squeeze your elbows in, and back in the child's pose. Pull the belly in a step and be back into child's pose. So from child's, we're gonna tuck your toes under, come back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back, Bring your left knee towards your left wrist, left leg comes across the mat. You're gonna come into pigeon pose. So you're gonna walk the right leg back. Then walk your hands behind the left knee and left foot, pardon me. So you're really coming up high, then let your right elbow come down to the mat. So what that does is that really sets your pelvis, so you're not rolling to your left hip. Then we're gonna come down to the left. So here, you're not rolling to one side. You're trying to stay relatively square. So you're gonna feel the left hip stretch here for pigeon pose. You can stay high, you can come down, you can rest your fists on top of one another, come flat to the mat. But I want you to try avoiding rolling to your left hip. So really kind of draw the right hip forward. So you need to come back out of pigeon and come back down. Really taking a moment to feel the stretch. Wiggling a bit if you need to, repositioning your left foot. And the breath, once again, is simply breathing in and breathing out. We tend to hold our breath when we hold a stretch, which is the exact opposite than what you want to do. From here, if you need to stay here, if you know that your left hip, your left sciatica is really bugging you today, you're going to spend a bit more time here. Otherwise, we're going to tuck your right toes under, bring your left foot off the mat and kick back to three-legged dog. So giving your left leg a good, nice kick about, and then we're going to bring it back to the mat. Extend your right leg back up, bring your right knee towards your right wrist, and walk your left leg back. So once again, you're really trying to keep that left hip forward. So you're gonna feel the stretch of your right hip. Then we're gonna come down to left elbow, forearm first, then your right. If you need to, if you feel like you're not back, then you can bring your hands here and set your pelvis. Because we start forward, you're not gonna let that extension go through the hip. So come back to pigeon pose. You can come all the way down, you can stack your fists together, whatever feels comfortable, but try not to roll to your right hip. So imagine that you're just drawing your left hip forward slightly. It's really a subtle thing. If you need to, roll to your right hip and feel it like you've let go of that stretch, and then come back. That's when you know, okay, there I am, that's where I'm supposed to be. So we have 5 to go here. And the 5 is not my count in my head. It's going to be your 5 breaths. And the breath isn't really fast, it's simply breathing in and breathing out. But I encourage you to really be present here. Check into how this hip is feeling. Kind of wiggle a bit more into it. Kind of feeling, oh yeah, right there is where you need it. And then, when you're ready, you're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your left toes in and bring your left knee off the mat. And then kick back to three-legged dog. In that three-legged dog position, we're just going to give the right leg a good kick. And then bring it back down to downward facing dog. One more time for fun. We're going to come forward to plank. Shifting forward, here's your chattering to squeeze your elbows and use your triceps. Cobra. And then back into child's pose. So draw your big toes together. And coming back into child. Just sink down into child's. And then we're going to roll ourselves over into our backs. Knees in the chest. Head and spine on the mat. We're going to bring your hands down beside you and kick your feet up towards the ceiling. Trying to bring the balls of your feet over your hips. Feet are flat. Great pose called staff. If you stand a lot or sit a lot for the day, you can do this along a wall if you would like. And then start to press the feet up. Imagine that you're lifting the ceiling off the foundation of the wall. So you're not just holding it, you're really feeling the stretch along the back of your legs. Then, we're going to bring your knees back into your chest. You're going to reach around and grab inside of each feet. Left's got left, right's got right. So head and spine are going to stay on the mat. Bring your heels together. Then press your feet up to the ceiling and allow your feet to fall away from midline. So here's happy baby. So stretching out your inner thighs. Now, wherever you are, we're going to pause for a moment. And then your next breath out, we're going to just let your feet fall a little further away. Really challenging this inner thigh stretch. Stretching your shoulders. Draw your shoulders down. Imagine that you're trying to press your shoulder blades into your mat. You may not get there, but you're trying. You're going to hold happy baby for 5 more. Remembering to breathe in and breathe out. 4 more here. Again, it's not a 5 count, it's something in my head that doesn't make any sense at all. Let's challenge a little further away. Pull your belly button in, and then we're gonna bring your heels back together, letting your feet escape from your hands and draw your knees in. From here, we're gonna let each knee come out to each shoulder to escape the rib cage. Feet are flat, feet are flexed. Maybe a little further away to really challenge that hip a bit. And then we're gonna bring your knees back together, hands down to your sides, and releasing one heel followed by the other to come to Shavasana. So laying here flat on the mat, palms are facing up is uncomfortable for you, an option is to bend your knees. You can even roll over to one side, but I encourage you, though I know you're practicing at home, is to take a few moments for Shavasana. So close your eyes, listening to my voice, and just allow yourself to sink deeper into your mat. Becoming aware of the breath. Being aware of the present. Living your life at this moment. Then, when you're ready, we're slowly going to open our eyes. Just stay wherever you are. Not need to rock your head. You're not missing anything, I promise. Be mindful to how you feel. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly roll over to one side. It does not matter which side. But as you come onto your side, we're going to come into pose of the unborn child. So we're going to try to stack your hips and your shoulders. Place your hands on the mat, on the floor, and then we're going to come up into a seated position. Crossing your legs. So we're going to come into ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. So we're going to come into a seated mountain. Hands at heart center. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice today with me and allowing me to come into your home. Have a wonderful day.